This is very exciting for us, especially for me and Thor, who have been wrestling fans our whole lives. I've been watching wrestling since 1984.
Wow.
And so I am very familiar with my man here, WWE Hall of Famer, one of the greatest managers in the history of the business, the Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart joins us in studio. How's it going, Jimmy?
Good morning, guys. I was sitting in the other room listening to you guys on the radio, and I loved it.
Oh, good.
Thank you. No, very entertaining. I'm telling you, it's really great.
Yes. Jimmy, you have managed some of the greats in the business, and what was amazing back in the day is you're very much like Sky. You mastered the art of being the most annoying person ever. Like
Jimmy, that is so rude.
No, but that's what Jimmy would do. Jimmy's whole thing is he would try to annoy the opponent, and he'd get on his megaphone and he'd scream at the audience, he'd scream at the opponent, and people would go nuts over you.
I'll take that as a compliment, Sky, right?
Okay.
But Jimmy, I don't try and do that on purpose. It's a compliment for someone who
You don't even need a megaphone, Sky.
Okay, that's
what?
Yeah.
Jimmy.
Well, you know what? It was a great run back in the day. WrestleMania 1 was Madison Square Garden.
Yes.
Wow.
And when I walked in, I came from, back in the day, territories, of course.
Mid-South.
Yeah, I came from Jerry the King Lawler, Andy Kaufman's our territory. So I went to New York, Madison Square Garden, right? Yeah. And I walked in. There's Muhammad Ali to my right. Over on my left, Liberace.
Yeah.
There's Billy Martin. There's Cyndi Lauper. And I'm going, oh, my gosh. Pinch myself. Am I really believing I'm up here for Madison Square Garden?
Yeah.
And for the first WrestleMania, it was great.
Unbelievable. And now look at us now. Yeah. We are WrestleMania 39, and it's up in L.A., so it's right in, up the road here. And so if you're in San Diego or you're listening to me right now, you have a chance to go to WrestleMania, which I've been to Super Bowls, I've been to World Series, that is my bucket list. I still have not been to a WrestleMania yet. And that atmosphere, Jimmy, you got to talk about it. It's like nothing else, right?
It's WrestleMania Goes Hollywood this year, WrestleMania 39. It's bigger, better, and badder than ever. 2 big days this year. Back when we first started, it was just one day at the arenas.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But now it's outdoor stadiums, and you see all the guest celebrities that come there.
It's crazy, man.
The superstars that kind of grew up watching us back in the day. So it's great.
Yeah, April 1st and April 2nd at SoFi Stadium. And tickets are going on sale this Friday?
Friday at 10 a.m.
Wow.
That stadium's incredible.
Yeah.
That stadium's incredible.
It's a perfect place to hold WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's
going to be awesome.
Be incredible, man. So, we're excited about it. We got to go, Thor.
Oh, 100% we're going.
Yeah.
I'm getting my pilot's license, Jimmy. So I'm going to fly Eddie and our buddy Zeth. We're going to fly from here to LA for both nights.
We're going. Short flight, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing.
It's great, though. Yeah, I can't even imagine. You're in LA, the amount of celebrities that are going to show up.
Yeah.
And one of my thoughts is there's one giant celebrity, maybe the biggest celebrity in Hollywood, but he's also a WWE legend. The Rock. Will we see? Can we see The Rock this year?
I did TV earlier, and Raul, who was host of the TV, he goes, Jimmy, you think The Rock will be there? And I said, well, I don't know, but if he would, we'll bring in a helicopter, Rock. We'll give you 50 free tickets for your friend. Whatever you want.
That'd be amazing, right? Yeah. So let's go back in time. As we're gonna talk about WrestleMania and it being in LA and all that stuff. Thinking about all the guys that you've managed. One of them was Bret the Hitman Hart. When he first came to WWE, he got put in this tag team, the Hart Foundation, and you were their manager. Did you see what eventually became one of the best wrestlers of all time, which is Bret Hart? Did you see that ability in him back then?
Well, he was very special, but, I had Jim Neidhart when I was in Memphis, the local territory, so we had him there. His name was Neidhart. I'm Jimmy Hart. And all of a sudden they said, we're going to bring this kid in from Calgary, Canada, called Bret Hart. Yeah. And I went, wow, hey, the Hart Foundation, here we go.
Yeah.
But Bret came in with us, but he was going to be a cowboy at first. At first they were going to be Cowboy Bret Hart. He was going to ride a horse into the arena.
This is a different time.
And Bret really speaks his mind. He goes, I don't think so, having a horse in every arena. So he talked him into put him with the Hart Foundation. Right.
Yeah.
The Hart Foundation. Right. Yeah. The Hart Foundation. So we came in, we put him with us. But if you look back in time, Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, who stood out? Shawn Michaels. Okay. Ted DiBiase, Irwin R. Shyster.
Irwin. Oh,
He gets the megaphone. He pressed the buzzer too quick.
You think usually there is a guy in a tag team that stands out?
One guy that always stands out, and of course I knew the girls love Brett, and so I could feel it coming. I used to tell Neidhart, I said, Neidhart, hope we get the belts for a long time because I'm telling you, Brett's fixing to be taken away from us. He's so good, and sure enough, it really happened. But it just seems like every time there's a tag team, there's only one member that always stands out more than the other.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
You also managed what some say is the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man.
Wow.
That was your guy, too.
Honky Tonk Man. And I had him in Memphis before that as one of the blonde bombers, Wayne Ferris.
Wow.
And so I went up there, and all of a sudden, here comes Honky in with this Elvis Presley outfit on. He'd got that taken, when he was in Pensacola, Florida, before I saw him. So he came and said, go give me the Honky Tonk Man. I'm going, the Honky Tonk Man? Who's that? And when I saw it, I went, oh, my God, Wayne Ferris. Which he was really a blonde, but his hair was black. And me coming from Memphis and meeting Elvis a couple of times in real life,
Oh, wow.
And a lot of people say if Jimmy Hart's lips are moving, he's lying, but I'm telling the truth. I promise you, I got pictures to prove it. And so I was so thrilled to have the Honky Tonk Man, which was very different than anybody I'd had before.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, it was a perfect fit because you're the mouth of the South. You got the Honky Tonk Man who looks like Elvis, and you come from a musical background. A lot of people don't realize maybe that that's actual thing.
Well, we had a one-hit wonder before you guys were born. It called the Gentrys. We toured with Dick Clark when we got out of high school. We were with the original Beach Boys. Everybody was together. The Beach Boys and Dave Clark 5 and Paul Revere and the Raiders, all the 60 groups. Matter of fact, we played the original Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood, California back in the day. And our backup group, our warm-up group, was the Buffalo Springfield. And once again, I have pictures to prove it. The Gentrys, the Buffalo Springfield, which was Neil Young and all those guys. But Dick Clark always said something to us. He had a meeting on the first tour, and he goes, look, guys, he had everybody in a big room. He said, listen, some nights you might feel good, some nights you might not. Do the best you can, but remember this. If you dress like the audience, one day you're going to wind up sitting in the audience, meaning be colorful.
Be loud.
So when I got in the wrestling business, I started wearing the crazy outfits. But I think that what really helped me stand out a little bit, too.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
No, that's so cool.
What people don't also maybe realize is because you come from music and all that stuff, you wrote a lot of the entrances, like Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy, the Honky Tonk Man song. Like, you wrote those.
Right, and I got to tell you this. A friend of mine, Adam, who works with our company up there, Adam Hopkins, he sent me a thing, and it showed on Spotify. You can check it out. It says, right now, up to date, Shawn Michaels, Sexy Boy, has 10,200,000 hits on Spotify.
That's
Can you
crazy.
believe that? But we did the Road Warriors, we did the $1 Million Man song. But one of my favorites, because we had to make it a little comical too, I did the Rougeau Brothers, and one of the lines was, we don't like heavy metal, we don't like rock and roll, all we like to listen to is Barry Manilow. Hey! And then carry the American flags being from Canada and goes, all we want to be is American boys, Jimmy. And we cut that at Sun Records, where Elvis cut, because I had the,
that's crazy.
Yen down there, so we cut that in Memphis and everything. But we had so much fun doing the music.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Now you obviously came from wrestling from in the '80s and when it was very different. Looking at the business now, what do you think? What do you think of the product right now when you look at it? Because it's wildly different.
Well, it really is different, but I really love it. I tell you, I watch Raw on Monday night, SmackDown on Friday night, NXT, which I saw last night on Tuesday night, and there's so much great talent coming up, and they're starting to kind of mix it in. Because when the territories got disbanded years ago, there was nowhere for us to find new talent. So that's why Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and those guys, they put together our school in Orlando, NXT, and that way you can bring the kids in there, train them, and then they can jump from the minor leagues, which is still kind of big if you're on USA Network, right?
Yeah,
down
seriously.
That's not
right.
minors.
And so you really jump from that up into either Raw or SmackDown, so it really helps us out. But a lot of great talent,
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, Jimmy, me, Eddie, and Zeth, we love hearing Vince McMahon stories, especially back in the 80s and the early 90s when he would do these crazy characters. Was there a character that Vince pitched to you or that that Vince pitched that was just so insane that never made it?
Well, it was kind of a character deal, but it really turned out to be good. One day, Pat Patterson came to me and said, Jimmy, I know you've got the Honky Tonk Man, the Hart Foundation, the Rougeau Brothers, the Nasty Boys, on and down the line. But he goes, we want you to take over Dino Bravo. And I went, what? Dino Bravo? And he goes, oh, okay. You don't want to? I said, no, I want to do it. I said, but can I give him a makeover, extreme makeover? He goes, yeah. So I bleached his hair blonde. I gave him the cape like the world's strongest, wrestler, right?
Yeah.
And I gave him a fleur-de-lis belt, weightlifting belt. And so we made him up and we made him the world's strongest man. So, but before I said that, he went back to Vince and he said, Vince, he said, Jimmy didn't want to manage him. I never said that, but they were teasing with me. And he goes, Vince is very, very disappointed. And you went, what? Oh my God, no. And so I waited outside his door to the arenas every week. So I'd wait out there and I just waited for him to come out to see if he was really mad at me. And when I went to him, I said, Vince, I really want to manage Dino Bravo, and I didn't want to disappoint you. And he goes, what are you talking about? So Pat ribbed me, which I squealed on myself. But it turned out Dino made a lot of money for us, but they let me do all that.
That's cool.
He let me take a group of girls. We had them called Judy Martin and Lonnie Kyle. We had some girls coming in called the Jumping Bomb Angels. And they had nobody to work with. And I said, look, I've got an idea. And they said, what? I said, can I bleach like the bleached hair on everybody, except for me. Yeah. And so I went to him and I said, can I take Lonnie Kyle and them bleach their hair, and I want to call them the Glamour Girls, and I've got the music for them. And they went, the Glamour Girls? And I said, yeah, really. So we did it, and those girls were great. One last story, we took Greg Valentine, right? Greg didn't want to do his hair black, right? For rhythm and blues.
Right, I remember this.
He was a blonde.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we finally, on the road, did his hair black. Now, he didn't tell his wife that, right? So Greg was on the same plane with me coming back to Tampa. So I get my car, and as I'm circling back around, I see Greg. We landed 30 minutes ago, and he's still standing out front of the place with his bags. So the next day I called him. I said, Greg, what took you so long? He goes, well, Julie, my wife, kept going around the circle, but she didn't recognize him in black hair because he was a blonde. Yeah. So he just kept going around looking for him. She goes, I can't find you. Where are you? I'm standing by the sign here, number 4. And he goes, well, I look and I can't. But he kept doing it over and over. So we had some crazy things that really happened for real.
Yeah. Well, we just heard a few weeks ago that Vince has finally decided to retire.
Crazy.
What do you think about that? Do you think that where the business is going to go with no more Vince and that voice and all that stuff? What do you think?
Well, you know what? He put food on our table for many, many years.
Yep.
He brought me the megaphone, love him. But I got to tell you something. Triple H, Stephanie, and Nick Khan have got together, and I think they've got a major plan. And if you notice, our stock's going up a little bit.
Okay.
The ratings on some of the shows have gone up a little bit. And so everything's looking really, really good.
I love it. I have WWE stock. My parents bought it for me when I was like 12 years old. No joke.
You check it all the time then.
Yeah, I check it all the time. I'm keeping it. Yeah. I haven't sold it in 20 years.
But we've got great talent. I think Stephanie and, of course, Triple H, great minds for the business. They've been doing it for a long time, So I think we're going to be in really, really good hands. And they're looking for new talent. We just had a major tryout while we were in doing the show in Orlando this past month, which is SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And so I had a chance to go see that. You got Paul Heyman there, who's got a great mind, Paul Heyman does, and just all the guys all together. So I think everybody's going to jump in together and really make this a home run.
When you look at the roster right now, is there somebody that stands out to you that you go, oh, I wish I was still managing because I'd want to manage that guy?
Well, I love Theory. He's a new kid on the block, and he's really good. I really enjoy him. I think Dominic Mysterio is going to really come out and be a home run before this is over with.
San Diego's own.
Yes.
San Diego, I know it, but I love him, and they've got so many guys coming in so quick.
You want the young guys.
Oh, my gosh.
You want to develop those
Because
guys.
if you think about it, they've always said age and experience should overcome youth and enthusiasm. Am I right?
Okay.
And if you look in boxing, all the older guys managed all the great boxers,
Yeah.
So I figured at my age, I should be a genius in this business.
Well, real quick, Jimmy, do you think back when you managed, even 10 years ago, the guys were way bigger than they are now?
Yeah.
A lot of the guys now are a lot smaller. Do you think that's good or bad for wrestling?
Well, I think they're more athletic now.
Yeah.
And I think that, and it's hard to find those big guys anymore that are very agile. I had Earthquake and Typhoon.
Yeah.
Look at
King
Hulk
Kong
Hogan.
Bundy's not jumping off the top rope.
WrestleMania, King Kong Bundy. But I think everything changes, and I think these guys are so athletic, and it's just everything changes
evolving.
in time.
Yeah,
it's evolving.
But the ratings are great, so how can you knock the ratings? How can you knock the house? Look at, we're selling, everywhere, still business. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And plus, look at me, I'm on Hart Radio
There
over
it
here.
is. There it is. Hart.
Yeah.
See, you got your Hart on. Yes,
I should have had my seamstress put I Heart on here.
There you go.
Hart jacket.
Yes, WrestleMania 39 going down next year, April 1st and April 2nd from SoFi Stadium in LA. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. So So this obviously is going to sell out very quickly.
Yes.
So get your tickets as soon as you can. And there's all kinds of stuff going on for WrestleMania, right?
I'm glad you said that. You know what? I've got to tell you. And of course, you can get these tickets at Crypto.com Arena. But you got Raw on Monday night. You'll have SmackDown on, of course, Friday night. And then, of course, you've got the WWE Hall of Fame that'll be taking place that week, too. So that's going to be good. And all during the week, there's all kind of events going on, 5 or 6 days of that where the fans can, we used to call
it's an
it.
experience.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, you get to see all the kind of memorabilia they have in there, merchandise, special appearance by all the wrestlers. And, of course, those tickets are going to be at Los Angeles Convention Center.
Okay.
Oh,
So,
okay.
you know what's so funny? When we come back to these areas after a year's time, they always change the names of the buildings. So
Yeah.
you kind of have to go, give me a cheat sheet here. So I can remember all
Yeah,
this.
who's sponsoring them now?
Yeah, right. But you know what? And of course, I hate to say this, but it's always capacity already. But tomorrow there's going to be a great thing taking place at the stadium, SoFi Stadium, which is Snoop Dogg's going to be hosting and everything else too. A lot of celebrities are going to be there. A lot of wrestling events are going to be taking place.
Yeah.
But that's going to be kind of a kickoff party for that too.
That's great.
But it's capacity already,
Yeah.
so it just shows you how hot the company still is.
Yeah,
and
without a
always
doubt.
will be.
Of course. Well, Jimmy, you're a legend,
Wow,
man.
yes.
You're a Hall of Famer for a reason. You did the best stuff when I was growing up. I loved it. It was the best. So definitely get those WrestleMania tickets. And it was a pleasure having you in, Jimmy.
We love you guys for having us part of this. Thank you for y'all having to sit through all this.
Fascinating.
But it's because of them. It's because of them.
Yeah, we're freaking out.
We're
And be
wrestling
careful
nerds.
flying down to see us, okay?
I will. I will.
Yeah, or Jimmy's going to hit you with that megaphone. Right on top of the head.
I love you
What he
guys.
does. Thanks, Jimmy.
Thanks.
The Padres.